Well, the GCC push for an end to the conflict comes as Iranian strikes continue to hit Gulf nations. Authorities in the UAE capital of Dubai say air defences have intercepted an Iranian missile near the city's largest economic and industrial hub. Officials in Abu Dhabi say falling debris has caused minor damage. No injuries have been reported. Let's get the very latest from Al Jazeera's Zein Basravi, who's standing by for us in Dubai. And so, Zein, Gulf nations, of course, have borne considerable targeting since the war began. It seems as if patience is wearing thin now.
That is correct. Their patience is not just wearing thin. With every single attack that happens, with every day this war carries on, frustration grows, and their patience is effectively being systematically deconstructed with each and every one of these attacks. And frankly, not just frustration with Iran, but frustration with the United States as well. The GCC countries were, from day one, months before this war even began, trying to keep it from happening. But it was like trying to stop a slow-moving car crash. And effectively, that crash has happened on their front yard. And that's something they continue to remind people, saying that whatever happens next, whatever the state of the economy, whatever a negotiated solution looks like, their primary threat is the retaliatory attacks by Iran, and their primary focus is bringing that to an immediate close. And that means ending the conflict as soon as possible. They don't care who stops fighting first, whether it's the US and Israel or whether it's Iran. But they continue to prioritize an end to the fighting as their main priority. And let's just look at the last 24 hours to get a sense of how ongoing this is. And we have to remind people, the GCC has seen 85% of all of the projectiles fired by Iran land on targets on their sovereign soil. The UAE, the worst affected. Now, the heaviest bombs obviously have been targeted at Israel and other US targets, but the GCC has seen consistently long-range, medium-range ballistic missiles, as well as swarms of drones. UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, all last night into today, seeing alerts carried out, seeing attacks happen. The UAE is saying that they engaged at least 19 ballistic missiles and 26 drones just today. The Khalifa economic zone in Abu Dhabi, as you say, it's the second time in as many weeks that that's come under attack. Debris fall just this time, but last time, much more damage. And we have seen injuries and deaths happen in the UAE from debris fall as well. The list goes on. Dubai telling people over and over again that the alerts, the sounds they're hearing are successful interceptions. They're not always successful. There are targets that get hit. Saudi interceptions, 4 drones, 1 missile. That's just in the last few hours today. Bahrain saying they confronted 2 missiles and 10 drones today. Those numbers have probably been updated in the last few hours. Kuwait saying that American institutions, companies, universities across the Middle East are under threat, with a specific alert for Kuwait. And really the list goes on. In Qatar earlier today, the Ministry of Defense confirming that there have been a number of attacks involving multiple drones from Iran that were confronted by Qatari air defenses. The same day that Qatar has sent yet another formal complaint to the United Nations, calling for the UN to condemn and try to help bring to a halt Iran's ongoing attacks. In Kuwait, again, more updates about drones and attacks in the last few hours. And that this continuum of attacks, this consistency of attacks, isn't just limited to the GCC. Jordan also saying that a number of drones were now targeting an airbase there. So what the GCC has warned about is exactly what is happening. The longer this conflict goes on, the more expansive it gets. And the longer the conflict goes on, the more exponential the damage, not just to the economy, but to the people's confidence in these places, in their economies. These cities were not built for war. These were testaments through the 20th and 21st century of the Middle East's ability to evolve, to become places of commerce, of stability, of safety. The GCC especially has always been near wars, but this war has been brought to their doorstep. This is one of the first instances in modern history where the GCC countries are in the war. These are de facto front lines in a conflict that was started by the US and Israel, and that Iran has really upticked. They have really doubled down in terms of their retaliation, something they have warned that they would do. But what the GCC is consistently reminding people is that it has to be stopped, because it isn't just a regional war now that Iran said it would do. It is not just a regional war. This has global implications to maritime trade, to import and export of goods, to trade routes, to financial markets. Just to give you a sense of how commercially connected these cities are, just building Burj Khalifa took dozens of companies, thousands of workers from 100 different countries. And so as connected as the GCC is, as long as this war carries on, the global ramifications will continue.
Yeah, deep concern about all of this, all the way around the world. Zein Basravi there in Dubai, thanks very much.